Good morning, it's Paul here. Out here doing a little practicing this morning with my RK1, making sure that the 400s that I tuned in yesterday and fletched. That's where old Caleb flies right there. He loves yellow. But out here shooting at about 18 yards at my deer, and just going through the shot process, going through what I've learned on solid archery mechanics, and I'm finding that the most important part of an arrow going towards the target is to make sure that when you fire that arrow, everything is perfect. Now, you say, hey, it's pretty hard to do, you know, make sure that every shot that I fire out of my bow is perfect. Well, if you follow Joel Turn at all, you can fire perfect arrows every single time, and it's all mental. I don't care if you do it with horrible form. If you fire the arrow with the same mental capacity every time, don't get me wrong, don't put words in my mouth. I ain't saying form's not important. Form's very important. But consistency will trump anything else while firing an arrow. And if you make sure in your shot process, if everything is the same every single time, that's more important than anything else in a shot. And so following some of Joel Turner stuff, well, all of Joel Turner stuff, and starting the Charlotte Archery Mechanics course from the Push Archery podcast, I'm finding that when I have inconsistencies in groups or arrow flight or anything like that, it's because I did something wrong on my end as far as not doing it the same time after time after time. A little tip, if it doesn't feel right, it's not. It ain't because it's just something hinky going. If it doesn't feel right, it's not. Let it down, go again. Now you see I had a little jerk in there. Subconsciously I was trying to anticipate when that feather was going to touch my nose, and that's no good for me. I could fight through it. I caught it, I didn't let it go. That's fine. Most of the time I would try to fight back through there and get it back again with not great results. So I let down, and you've seen me let down a lot. This is my third arrow fired this morning, or my fourth arrow, sorry. Now, I'm out here firing arrows. I'm not really concentrating on groups. When I first start out, all I'm trying to do is get consistent in the way that I set up, the way that I fire, or the way that I draw anchor, the way that I expand. Because before the solid archery mechanics, I was expanding wrong, and it was giving me a lot of inconsistent arrows as far as grouping wise. Not to give away any of the course, go on the Push Archery podcast website, go to their P.A.C.K. It's called the Push Archery's Knowledge Learning Center. So you can get 3 courses. You can take the Demmer course, you can take the Joel Turner course, you can take the Tom Archery or the Tom Club Senior course. And I'm telling you, if you want to gain consistency in the way you fire arrows every single time, all you've got to do is make sure that every step along the way, from the time that you mount that arrow on that bow, that the time you pull it back into anchor, and the time you let that string go, that it's the same every single time. I'm finding aiming is the easiest part of the whole scenario. Ooh, I think I might have shafted that one. So, I'm gonna grab these arrows. I don't know how else to put it, but consistency in the shot comes all from the brain. There ain't anything else you can do to gain consistency other than making sure mentally you're prepared every single time to do the same thing every single time. Because if you don't, you will not find the results that you want. And you'll be chasing your tail, trying to figure out what's going on. You'll be changing bows, you'll be changing arrow setups, you'll be trying to tune, and it's not the tune 90% of the time. It's what's going on in between your two ears that'll mess your archery shot up. So it's always good to have good equipment. This RK1 right here is the best shooting metal riser bow I ever shot, and I've shot a lot. I don't know why, it fits my hand great. The grip, being kind of a compound style, sits in that same spot every time. I got small hands anyway, but equipment's only, I'd say, less than 50% of it. Mental is, I would put 80% at least, maybe higher, and then equipment last, and form and process make up the rest. Because without the mental side of your shot, I don't care if you got the best form in the world, if you break down mentally and give up on that arrow before you release it, you're done. Good form or not form, or good form and not good form. It's all about consistency, folks. Didn't feel right, let it down. What was going on with that, when I pulled back to anchor, I always lay my nose on the shaft, and so while I'm expanding, I feel that, I feel the movement, and mentally I know that I'm moving. A lot of times you'll feel like you're expanding, and if you have no gauge to know if you are, you're really not moving at all. Three dead deer right there. Well, I'm gonna cut the video off, get some practice, more practice in. But if y'all have any questions, any comments, let me know. Put it down in the bottom there, and I'll get back to you. This is Paul on this good, rainy, nasty Sunday morning. Y'all shoot straight. God bless.